Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to the episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 161 today for the Italian Grand Prix in Season 8. If you guys did miss the previous one, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Before we continue on with this episode, just a quick reminder guys that the F1 season is upon us, and so you guys should get signed up for F1 Fantasy and join my specific league. All the details are on screen right now. There'll also be a link in the description to go join up to F1 Fantasy. You can literally view my actual league page from the lobby page, or you can use the code on screen to try and join my league and get involved. There's already like quite a lot of you in there, and so just before the season begins, you've got until I think just before qualifying on Saturday to actually make your team and enter into league. So get signed up, get joined up, and then you guys can go against me and fellow viewers and try to see who can do the best job at predicting a fantasy team of F1 drivers for not only the Australian Grand Prix, for the entire season ahead. I'll be doing some videos to update you guys on the league and how everyone's doing, or how I'm doing as well, and probably doing a lot worse than some of you guys, because last year was anything to go by. Then I'm not going to do very well compared to you guys. You guys seem to be a lot better at predicting who's going to do well over multiple races at a time. But yeah, get signed up over there. There's not too much time left until Saturday, when the kind of thing gets locked and you can't choose your team anymore for the Australian Grand Prix. All the details on screen right now, but let's get into this then. The Italian Grand Prix. Now, Belgium last time out was interesting. Another episode. It was another pile up in that episode, but we got through it, and we had a pretty okay time. I would say it could have gone better. Obviously, Leclerc really just did not get any luck, really. He hasn't got any luck in this series last few episodes. You know, he won that Grand Prix at Germany, I think it was. He should have won the French Grand Prix. He should have probably won that Belgian Grand Prix the way it was going, I think, or he would have had a good shot at it. So that was a bit of a shame. But we go into the Italian Grand Prix then. I said the end of last episode, I think we're going to be on the back foot a little bit here, because last episode around Spa, we just didn't seem to be very good on the straights. Like, everyone was catching us up so much on slipstream. So we'll see how it goes around Monza. Red Bull might in theory be good, because on paper they're the best team still by a decent bit to Renault and us here at Alfa Romeo Racing, but we'll see how it goes. And so with that, we're going to head into qualifying, and then obviously the lower downforce package on the car with the wings and the setup into turn one. A little bit hairy under braking there. That was a little bit scary, I can't lie, because I could have gone straight on there with a double lockup. Thankfully the tyres started to rotate a little bit more as we entered the apex. They were able to survive that, but definitely the car was feeling a little bit unstable, because I'd run the wings quite low to what I usually do. I usually compromise myself quite a bit here at Monza, because I'd rather have a comfortable feeling car around Monza than a quick in a straight line car and unstable in the corners. But this time I thought, you know what, I'll throw a caution to the wind, I'll go aggressive on this setup, and instead I was met with a bit of a uneasy car, let's say, in the braking zones. But I try to make the most of it. At the moment we're in P4 then. I believe Leclerc actually is, as it stands, on provisional pole ahead of Fernando Alonso there, and I think one of the Red Bull cars is in second place. So he's done a fantastic job. I've got about 4 tenths to try and close up to him to try and get towards pole position. So we have some time to find, but also at the same time I knew that I left some time on the table here around that first one, that being a bit too cautious under braking perhaps. So here we go, it's the end of the session. The checkered flag has fallen on the top left there, chucking it through. You can see in the top left we've gained a decent chunk, and so I don't know if Leclerc is behind me. I think he might be on a better lap, so we'll see where this is going to get us. For now it is going to be a major improvement, but as we go towards Parabolica, Verstappen awkwardly parks his car and we slam into him there, and I'm left in disbelief, disarray that even happened. Verstappen went so slow because he wasn't on a hot lap, because I was catching him so rapidly, and he clearly lifted off into Parabolica. So I thought, okay, he's going to go really tight on the apex. Maybe I'll just about be able to squeeze through and not lose too much time. In the end, he didn't let up enough. I still went for the space that I thought would be there, and I hit the back of him, and so we don't improve our time. We have to come into the garage, and that is it, which is really unfortunate. Of course, yeah, I that's half maybe my fault, because I should have been able to maybe take a wider line, but that would have compromised me, and I would have already lost a little bit through Ascari. I didn't want to lose more time through Parabolica, so I had to go for it, and so in the end, just work out. So these things happen sometimes, but we're still P4. That's still great. With that crash in qualifying, we're still P4 on the second row, alongside our championship rival Fernando Alonso. That's pretty damn good still in my book. Leclerc on pole position, though, does a great job for the team. Obviously, like I said, I was kind of worried we were going to do well here at the kind of home Grand Prix, essentially. Alfa Romeo being Italian brand, want to do well for the I don't know, home fans. I don't know how many of them are going to be rooting for Alfa Romeo versus Ferrari, but you never know. And Leclerc does a great job on pole alongside Carlos Sainz, actually. Gasly way down the order, so Sainz pulling up his socks and doing the job there in second place. But like I said, I'm still happy. Still second row, and with a slipstream that's all too powerful around Monza, we can still do some good work. So let's get into the Grand Prix and see what's what.
The the Italians love their cars and they love their racing. And of course, they love it here at Monza. Home race for Ferrari, of course, who've had 18 wins here since 1950. But you know, there's not been so much luck for the locals in the cockpit recently. The last Italian driver to win this race was back in 1966. So what now? I think it's time to make some more history here today. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Stoffel van Dorn. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
And so with that, let's have a look at the starting grid ahead of Season 8 of my F1 2018 career mode for the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. On pole position then is my teammate Charles Leclerc in the Alfa Romeo racing car on pole alongside Carlos Sainz on the front row in the first of the 2 Red Bull Hondas. Third place then is Fernando Alonso and myself in P4, the 2 championship rivals on the second row. Fifth place and the 6th place is all Mercedes then, Verstappen, Hülkenberg with Sorokin getting ahead of Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull. Van Dorn then 9th place with Vettel P10, Hamilton P11, disappointed with that, Ocon, and then an all next row of Haas. Ricciardo, Bottas next with Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll in the second last row, with Kimi Raikkonen and Brendan Hartley occupying the last one. Brendan Hartley with a grid penalty ahead of this Italian Grand Prix. Let's get into it. Alright, so not an ideal day yesterday in Saturday qualifying, but we can make up for it in the race. And, you know, even though it was a bit of a disaster at the end, it really wasn't that bad because other people clearly made mistakes because we're still here on the second row. And our car actually, thankfully, has some decent pace, it would seem. So strategy-wise, we're going to go for a one-stop. It really is usually the case around Monza, of course, low abrasion circuit. But we're not going to go with the default one-stop because that says super soft to medium. We're going to switch that medium compound tire to the soft tire, especially in Season 8. The tire upgrades on all these cars should mean that me and pretty much every AI car here on the grid should be able to do a one-stop from super soft to the soft tire and won't even need that white wall medium compounder tire. So we're going to lower down the fuel just a tad, still give us enough to play around with in the race for sure. This is one of the tracks where you need a lot of fuel to burn. And now we'll get into this as we go to 5 red lights to the Italian Grand Prix. My team on pole, myself in P4. 5 red lights are out and we're underway, and a lot of wheel spin there for Alonso, but a lot more for Carlos Sainz actually there. We get a pretty shocking start as well as we go up the gears. The Mercedes car of Verstappen waltzes alongside us there. Double lock up into turn 1 as we try and tentatively put on the brakes, and Alonso's done some good work there to get up into P2. So now it's only my teammate that is in the way of my championship rival being in the first place of this Italian Grand Prix. So I'm going to hope that Leclerc pulls through and keeps that first place. For now, we're dismally down in P4, quite some way ahead, behind Carlos Sainz actually, and instead looking behind me at Verstappen a little bit nervously as Verstappen and Hülkenberg and the 2 Mercedes cars were right behind me. They had some mega acceleration there, and I don't know, I had an initially good start, but then bogged down quite a bit in 3rd and 4th gear. But as we go on then towards lap 2, Leclerc still in the lead. Actually, Alonso's being pressurized by Carlos Sainz, so the 2 Spaniards are fighting. It's actually an uncommon mistake there from Fernando on the front left tyre there, so putting some good pressure is the younger Spaniard in 3rd place there. You can see we're quite close. Gasly now is up into P5. He's overtaken both Mercedes cars, so Gasly qualified down in P7 or 8 I think it was, so very poor showing for him. He got out-qualified by a Toro Rosso car, for God's sake, so he'll be wanting to recover quite well and try and use that clean air now to try and catch up to me and these 2 potentially, because now these guys are side by side. Alonso with another lock up there, so looks like I'm not the only one finding the braking an issue to turn 1 so far in this Grand Prix on lap 4, as Alonso now is under pressure and Sainz is alongside him there, but they jostle for position. The elbows are coming out and Alonso's got some familiar obviously battles here on the curve as we go down towards the end of sector 1. We dive on Ozin, but think better of it, and that's exactly why, because Alonso's made a mistake, and so instead of forcing a very risky 3 wide move there, I thought I'd back out, be patient, and instead wait for a mistake to happen, and it did. Alonso makes another mistake in this Grand Prix. He's down to P4 now. We're up into P3, so that could have been a pretty epic 3 wide moment into the end of sector 1, but obviously it worked out better for me just to brake early and just kind of duck out of that, and now it sets us up for a very easy move to P2 then, nice and calm. DRS open on the straight, and we don't have to worry about any contact or anything like that, or any kind of collisions, and we're up into P2, and it's now 1-2 for Alfa from Racing, but it's not over yet. You can see there had a bit of a tank slapper there on the exit, and Sainz is going to have a mega exit. The Red Bull Hondas obviously have improved a fair amount. On paper, they're the best team on the grid, and clearly it's showing the Honda power is actually very, very decent as Sainz now comes around outside there. We're a little bit early on the brakes, I will admit, because I'm still going cautious on the heavy fuel. I just don't want to lock these tyres too much and wear out my tyres also with some lockups. But Sainz gets the move done, but we come back around the outside of him, so it ends up being an absolute mega and really nice battle here with Carlos Sainz, but he's going to have the better line on the inside there. We get on the curb and slightly have to lift off there, and so we're back down to P3. So for now, it's been a mega scrap. Will it be another one as we move on to lap number 6? And again, in this slipstream DRS, there's going to be a common theme here in this Grand Prix, just coming back at the cars who've overtaken you. That's kind of the only issue I have with Monza really on the game, is it's too easy sometimes to re-overtake the car that's just overtaken you because the slipstream is that powerful. But we're side by side, neck and neck with Carlos Sainz once again. But this time, we have a much better exit, and I think I'm confident that I can try and just basically park this car in the correct position, try and stop a move again. He's there on the left-hand side of the mirrors. We're going to go to the inside, but then kind of stick in the middle in a way, kind of awkwardly, and not let him have any room there. Lock up on both tyres there, but thankfully get the thing slowed down. And we're going to maintain P2 as we go towards the end of lap number 6. But Sainz is going to be right up our chuff, as well as Pierre Gasly. Both Red Bulls are attacking me now, as well as Fernando Alonso there. Sainz on the outside, Gasly on the outside there. I've taken that corner way too cautiously there. I just don't want to, wreck my car, basically, because last time out, we got so close. My team obviously got wrecked out the Belgian Grand Prix, so I'm just very wary of that, especially at Monza, because it's so easy to do. But now it's 3 wide between myself and the 2 Red Bulls. Lovely camera shot there as we cut across and go very deep into that corner and try and block off the 2 Red Bulls. But Sainz, somehow, what a move. I don't know how he's found the space there around the outside of turn 2, but he's made it work. He's forced his way through, and he's back up into P2 now, and I'm having to re-overtake Carlos Sainz now, with Gasly still pressurising there in 4th place, and Alonso not too far behind. And into the next corner, the Red Bull with a better entry, but on the exit, he's going to go over the sausage curb and lose some time. We do this switchback move, cut in on the right, and we're back up into P2 with a bit of a wily old fox move. And all the while, my teammate is just relaxing out in front in P1. Leclerc dominating this Italian Grand Prix. And now, thankfully for me, the 2 Red Bulls are going to have a bit of a inter-team squabble here as Gasly and Sainz side by side now. Gasly, the one on the left-hand side, I believe, trying to get up into P3. He has done so. And so you can see there visually, I'm getting away from them now in P2. And we're trying our best now to use the clean air we've got now to try and catch up to this man, like I said, who's pretty much dominated the entire Grand Prix so far, doing a fantastic job, to be fair. And also, to be honest, it's a bit of karma, I guess, for him. Even though I would like to beat him to get that race win, what happened to him last race was really unfair, I feel. So, he kind of deserves to be right up there. But he's pit now. We're going to continue on for one more lap. The overcut is sometimes quite good around Monza, so I'm going to try and see if I can do anything to try and topple Leclerc and try and close up on him. We're going to box in this lap on lap 13. The tyre's feeling very second-hand now. You can see well over 50% there on that rear left tyre, so very much feeling it on the exit and entry to the corner. So we're going to come in now for a set of soft tyres, and that'll be comfortably through to the end of the Grand Prix, because we're nearly, halfway through the Grand Prix at this stage, and we're on the set of super soft, so just kind of showing off as well that very much you don't need the medium tyres. I'd be very surprised if any driver on this grid uses medium tyres in this Grand Prix. It's just not necessary really with the tyre wear kind of levels we've got in Season 8 with all the upgrades on the R&D trees for everyone. So we come out then on that set of soft tyres. We should be in pretty clean air. Leclerc's already gone past us for P1, but we should not be anywhere near the Red Bull cars or the Renault of Alonso, because in fact, actually look at the top left there, Alonso was up there in P3, and this is why. This is a replay actually from before I made my pit stop and before Leclerc made his pit stop, but we couldn't show it to you because we're too busy kind of showing you off where Leclerc was in terms of the pit stops. But this is Alonso now making it 3 wide with the 2 Red Bulls. It's a fantastic little camera shot there, and it's a great move from Alonso. Double overtake on the 2 Red Bulls, catches them both napping, and that was right before the pit stop phases. And Alonso up into P3 there, and clearly, even after the pit stop phases, he's kept that position clearly on the top left. You can see he's there in P3. So for now, Alonso doing some good work to limit the damage, I guess, for the championship's sake. Myself and Leclerc both ahead, so this will also work really well for the constructors right now, having this 1-2 to really make a good punch and a good statement at the Italian Grand Prix of all places. But as we move on then through the Grand Prix, Alonso does lose his 3rd place. We actually unfortunately missed the overtake on that, but we're going to now see and watch him re-overtake the Red Bull and try and get back into that P3. You've got both Red Bulls. In theory, they should kind of work together as a team to both kind of overtake Alonso here, but I think they're kind of going for kind of separate glory here, as Gasly and Sainz each have things to prove. Gasly, the reigning world champion from Season 7, and Sainz so far this season. Hasn't really had it go all his way, but in the last few episodes, he's kind of bucked up a little bit and tried to match Gasly in the recent rounds. Obviously, he would have won the Hungarian Grand Prix, so I guess he's got something to prove there, is trying to get back a victory that he lost at Hungary. But for now, I think that's Gasly at number 10, Red Bull ahead of Sainz, ahead of Alonso, I should say, in P3 for now. Sainz, though, speaking of him, he's going to make a move, and in doing so, all three of these guys are kind of allowing that Mercedes car, or I think that's Verstappen, to close up here. So these guys should be careful, because otherwise they might make this a four-way fight, and then they'll really have issues trying to go four wide or anything like that down the straight and really hold each other up. But the two Red Bulls now go on scrapping, and Alonso is actually really falling away there. So I don't know if Alonso's got an issue there, but he's down to what is now P4, and is not looking really like he's going to challenge these guys, especially on that straight. It looks like he's just getting away. And meanwhile there, whilst there's two Red Bulls scrap for P3, P4, I'm just here doing the job in P2. I can't really catch Leclerc at the moment, though, unfortunately. He's doing an excellent job out in P1, but now this safety car has been called out there with, 8 laps to go. Sergei Sorokin, the Toro Rosso, after a brilliant qualifying, is out this Grand Prix, and so now this might just change things. I said I couldn't catch Leclerc, he had too much pace there, but now, I don't know, we're going to bunch up now on the safety car restart. We might have a good chance at maybe jumping Leclerc, and so the race win might just be on yet. But also at the same time, remember, the added caveat is, of course, the two Red Bulls behind me and Alonso will have an equally good chance to try and close up to me, so I have to watch out for this and be a little bit wary from behind as well as looking forward. But here we go on the restart, trying to warm up the tyres. Bit awkward now, just waiting for Leclerc to go here on the kind of apex of parabolic. And yeah, you can see there, I get the power on a little bit too eager there in third gear and nearly decked the car into the wall. So very lucky that I was able to save that with big amount of opposite lock and just about keep this car in a straight line as we go and chase after Leclerc now. But he's had he's got unlucky there. My mistake has meant that he's comfortably away in P1, and Gasly and Sainz now are right up my traffic. You can see all the proximity arrows there. In the mirror, I can see all three of the cars, the two Red Bulls and the Renault there in the background. So you have to watch out for this. Going to have to use Leclerc as a bit of a pulling toe, really. Try and pull me away from P3 and P4 to try and secure at least this minimum P2. And then we'll see what we can do about getting Leclerc. But there's a reason why he's dominating this Grand Prix. It wasn't only just because I was scrapping away with the other cars. It's because he genuinely had a good pace so far in this race. But saying that, though, as we go on towards lap 24, we're actually a lot closer than I thought we would be, maybe. And we've got overtake mode to use. We're derating a little bit there on the ERS, but now we'll bump it up to overtake mode on ERS. Rich Mix going, no DRS yet, but we're closing up on our teammate on the left-hand side. Sainz is right up my chuff as well, but we have to try and make this overtake in a way where we're still 1-2, but we just swap this round with Leclerc. We're on the inside. We've squeezed him out. I thought at this stage I had it, but he comes out of nowhere there with the most ridiculous traction there, and so he gets back up into P1. So I don't know if he's got a bit of a difference in setup, maybe. Hopefully so, because otherwise that's just some crazy traction he's been able to get with his right foot there. We go around the outside, though, down the inside. Bit of contact made. Leclerc in the gravel as we go head-to-head, and that got a little bit too frosty, though, for probably my team principal and my opinion, to be honest, because I don't want to make things worse and stop this 1-2 if we can. But at the same time, I do obviously want to go for the win. You're always going to try and go for the win as a racing driver, but it's getting a little bit frosty in a way now. Look at that Red Bull is right up there, and it's actually Sainz now pulling alongside me. He might even have a go at Leclerc, and so this is not what I wanted, but it's going to happen. Sainz down the inside, squeezes out Leclerc, and so we've lost the 1-2. It's 2-3 now. Leclerc, though, can he come back in it now as we move on to lap 25? 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix. My teammate sends one down the inside. DRS is activated this lap now. Those two neck and neck, but Sainz has his nose in there. He kind of shoves Leclerc out a little bit, but Leclerc gets that brilliant traction he got against me, and he's back up into P1, so that's good for now. But Sainz sticks behind him, and he looks like he might try a little bit of a move. Will he go left or right? Let's see. Leclerc goes defensive. Sainz goes to the right-hand side, and if he's braking late enough, he could just get the inside line for the next corner. He does so and gets the move done on Leclerc. Leclerc has to be squeezed out, goes defensive on me, actually, then, and so has to settle for P2 there with only 2 laps to go. I don't know. There might still be a chance, though. Leclerc and myself can do something as we move on to lap 26. Gasly, though, is now pressurising myself there, but here goes Leclerc on the left-hand side. Come on, son. Let's get the move done around the outside. I still want an Alfa Romeo car to win the Grand Prix. If it can't be me, I'd rather it be him, but just not a Red Bull Honda, hopefully, at the Italian Grand Prix of all places. We need an Italian team winning this thing, but no, Sainz pulls it through, and look at that Honda speed. Where's it come from recently? But Sainz does the job. He goes defensive then. Leclerc has a look around the outside. He's going to go down the inside. He's actually done it there, maybe, and he's up into P1. P1 just about a car length there. Sainz on the left can't do anything here. Tuxbar in behind. We now go around the outside. And could the 1-2 still be on here maybe? For Alfa Romeo at the Italian Grand Prix round the outside. Ooh, so close to the gravel. And we make some contact with Sainz trying to get the car straightened up a little bit. And Sainz actually straightened up my car for me a tad. And so it got very, very close and hot and bothered there for a little bit. And now Gasly's setting one down my inside. So it looks like maybe my run for the top 2 positions is over as we just about managed to survive the entire ordeal by going a little bit off circuit there for good measure in P3. But as we move on to the last lap of the Grand Prix, you might not be able to quite see it, but Carlos Sainz is going for a move with Leclerc on the outside. That is, Leclerc's gone defensive there. The Spaniard will have the inside line. Again, Leclerc has to try and get that acceleration. He does so on the right-hand side as they go through the curve now to the end of Sector 1. Leclerc jostles for the position and he gets up into P1. Sainz, though, will he come back at him now? Again, with the copycat move on the outside for this left-hander to the inside for the next one. He'll do this same move there, squeeze out Leclerc, get up into P1, and this time, unfortunately, it's for good as we go towards the last corner then of this Grand Prix. It's going to be Carlos Sainz that unfortunately wins the Italian Grand Prix. It's not going to be that romantic 1-2 or even first place for Alfa Romeo Racing here today. It's going to be Leclerc P2, myself P3 with Pierre Gasly in P4. It's good, but it's just not great.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Well, that was some pretty damn close racing. The safety car obviously bunched everything up quite a fair bit. Otherwise, it probably would have been a bit more of a mundane, kind of a mundane order in the race, with Leclerc dominating most of that Grand Prix before the safety car. But in the end, Sainz is pretty much, the safety car helped him out a lot because he wouldn't have been able to make that move if not. But not going to, dwell on it too much, but 2-3 still means that we do a good job in the Drivers' Championship. You can see Leclerc moves up the order. I extend my lead to Alonso because he finished behind both Red Bulls. Gasly and Sainz now, if they have some more race wins maybe between them, they could even start pressurizing Alonso, and that could alleviate the pressure to me. We'll have to see about that. But for the constructors, we are in first place still, and Red Bull actually now move up ahead of Renault. So how about that? Renault have been pretty much the lead guys for this entire time of the season for the constructors, but now Red Bull have dethroned them, and they're the ones chasing after us in the constructors title. So intriguing stuff. We'll see if Renault have anything to hit back later on in this season with Alonso and Hamilton. But guys, that has been a very action-packed Italian Grand Prix. In the end, maybe the result that not we wanted, but still an entertaining one nonetheless, and still good for the championship. So I'll take it. We still extend the lead to Alonso, so I can't really be too disappointed. I've got to be happy about that, to be fair, for 2 and 3 for us as a team as well. So guys, if you did enjoy that, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know your thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, to subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed today, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.